Welcome to this episode of our program, Daily Debate. As usual, we will be discussing an important file. Today we'll be speaking about women empowerment, particularly during the era of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi since he assumed office in 2014. 7 years since the president assumed office. In those 7 years, as said by the head or the chairwoman of the National Women Council, women are living in their golden era. Social, economic, political, even status were put for women. Women became a priority file. Women became a real partner in the Egyptian life. Women have become even part of the Egyptian state vision 2030, part and parcel of the whole strategy. President Sisi have put the file of women as a priority file: women health, women's situation, women economic status, women from all aspects. He believed that women has always played a great role in the society and have their own role to continue with. Hence, women became part of the political system, ministers, very high-ranking positions in the leadership, governors for the first time, vice governors, all posts in the walk of life. Women now are motivated. They are feeling that they are part of this society, that they are real partners, and hence they started to really assume their responsibility and the role. Definitely women have always in Egypt played a role during the Egyptian history, but those 7 days were a kind of quantum leap to the status of women. We'll be speaking about that in our episode. Before we delve into our discussion, first let's have a quick look on the top story of the day. And President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held a meeting on Monday with Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Finance Mohammed Maït, with the attendance of Finance Minister deputies. Presidential spokesman Ambassador Bassam Radi said that the meeting tackled the progress reports of a number of development projects of the Finance Ministry, where Maït reviewed measures carried out by Customs Department to reduce customs release time, and the new data system for changes which was applied since last April. In this regard, President Sisi directed to continue accelerate customs release time to reach the international rates through implementing mechanisms and upgrade systems for the customs process according to the planned schedule. The minister reviewed developments of upgrading the taxes system through its first phase, which launched last January, and included measures of dealing with finances. Ambassador Radi added that the meeting discussed results of the final review of the International Monetary Fund and the government at expert level, and measures of developing the domestic products as well as the increase of economic growth. In this context, the President instructed to enhance the role of the private sector as an important partner in the country's economic progress during the coming periods. Right, welcome back, and moving on with our topic. And before we start with our discussion, let's first have a quick look on this report. President Sisi directives Egyptian women to start working at State Council Public Prosecution starting October 1st. Let's watch the report.
As per a presidential decree, Egyptian women can work at the State Council and the Public Prosecution for the first time in the country's history, starting October 1st. This came during President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's meeting with top judicial figures last week. Presidential spokesman Bassam Radi said that several historic decisions were issued during the meeting, noted that they will contribute to achieving full equality between men and women in assuming judicial posts in all judicial bodies and authorities. Although there are a number of women occupying judicial posts, no women have ever been appointed as judges on the State Council. This came to an end last March when President Sisi directed Justice Minister Omar Marwan to coordinate with concerned bodies to allow women to become members of the State Council and the public prosecution. During the meeting, President Sisi said that October 1st of every year is to be considered an Egyptian Judiciary Day. The meeting also approved a decision to equalize financial entitlements among persons of the same rank in the four judicial bodies and authorities of the State Council, the Administrative Prosecution, the State Lawsuits Authority, and the Judiciary. Ambassador Radi said that the decision also aims at achieving equality in income among peers in every judicial body and authority automatically, so that there would be no need to file lawsuits to achieve this equality. The presidency spokesman added that the transference to the administrative capital will be considered a breakthrough in terms of modern workplaces and the use of modern technology in the procedures.
Right, welcome back. And before I start with my discussion, let me first welcome our distinguished guest, Dr. Nevine Nabil Nakhla, trainer and mentor for women entrepreneurs and SMEs. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much for inviting me today to speak about this very important issue.
I guess all feminists are very interested.
Yes.
Indeed. Let me start by asking you, Egypt is the first country in the world. Yes. I mean, yes, women are part of all societies in the whole world, but Egypt was the first country to put women in its strategy, in its vision. And that was very much obvious, taking it into Egypt's Vision 2030. How did you read that, and how do you find that?
First of all, let's have a look on women in the Egyptian community and the society. We are 48.4% of the whole population, and 56% are university graduates are women, and also 54% are holders of MBA and PhD are women. 48.6% of women are professors in universities. So all this is empowerment and like the breaking
an added value to the society.
Exactly. So His Excellency, our beloved President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, since he was in presidency since 7 years ago, he really cared and had a vision for women empowerment. And in all his speeches and all the conferences, he had few minutes speaking about women of Egypt and that the economical growth cannot be completed without the empowerment of Egyptian women. And as he said, I'll translate and quote one of his words. He said that women are the voice of consciousness and the guard of the heart and soul of Egypt, of the homeland and the nation. So he really considers women of Egypt the mother, the sister, and the daughter. And the great achievements he did for women of Egypt in the last 7 years is like the golden era and the golden age, like we say. For example, today we have 8 ministries, which is 25% of the cabinet are women. You have in the parliament around 27 to 28% are women. You have in all the first governor, like you said, the first governor was a few years ago the governor of Bahira,
yes.
And after her the governor of Domyata, and 31% of the deputy governors are women. 27% of the deputy ministers are women. See the empowerment. He removed the glass ceiling of the gender gap in many areas, employment, leadership, everything.
Indeed. You're speaking in numbers, and I'm speaking in at large. Let me here see if we can take the Egyptian women in sectors.
Yes.
And you started by saying that they have assumed high-ranking position in all the sectors of the state. When we speak about the political one, and you respectively here said women ministers, women governors, women
assistant governors, assistant deputy ministers,
the very high-ranking positions in all position or in all government office. But here I have to speak also about a first time. I mean, here the Egyptian women used to have judicial posts, but not in the State Council.
Yeah.
And that was
Not
the
anymore.
the latest decree by
Yes.
the president allowing
Yes.
women to start working in the State Council and public prosecution since the 1st of October.
This is great news. I mean,
how do you view that?
again, breaking the glass ceiling of women not reaching everywhere, breaking the gap and overcoming the gap of gender and equality. And this shows that His Excellency vision is real, and it is, I mean, it's strategies, and it is very calculated and very in like roadmap, in very important steps. For example, the Women National Council, they are aligned with the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and we are the first country to do this, to be aligned with the SDGs. And out of the SDGs, there are 34 indicators that are very taken care of: political, economical, social. So it's
the SDGs, and we are speaking here about the world SDGs, right?
Yes, the United Nations.
The United Nations, and definitely women are a big part, or one whole chapter of this, and indeed,
yes,
we were one of the countries, or the first ever countries, who put women atop of its priorities in parallel with what is demanded.
Exactly.
When we speak about women achievement, we start with the year 2017 when it was declared
Women Year.
Exactly. Exactly. How did you view that, a year for women, a recognition to her role or historical role and to her upcoming future? How do you view, let's speak first about the historical role played by women during the past decades or the past history of Egypt, and then we move to the role of the Egyptian women, particularly during the few years, the past decade, let's say.
Okay. First of all, like his President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said, that women are the beating heart of Egypt. And very old, ancient, we had queens of Egypt, I mean. So women of Egypt are always strong, always standing out, always fulfilling the dream. But as we said, during the last 7 years, the glass ceiling was broken. I mean, the gender gap was overcome. And you were asking about the situation now, or the...
No, I'm speaking about the role women have played during the 10 years, because we're speaking about very critical times that passed by Egypt.
Yes.
During the past 10 years.
Yes.
We're speaking about two revolutions.
Yeah.
Or one and a
actually.
half revolution.
Okay.
one revolution and
Yeah.
another. I mean, anyway.
Anyhow,
We're speaking about very critical times that passed
Yes.
by Egypt in terms of its economic situation, in terms of its the instability that it has seen at some points, the insecurity in some of the places. I'm speaking here about how women endured the whole situation and pushed forwards.
The first thing that in 2014 bothered His Excellency was the inheritance law. Some villages were not inheriting women in Egypt, and this was the first. The constitution, the Egyptian constitution during 2014 added 20 clause for women, like the inheritance, like the harassment, the circumcision, which was allowed before the golden era or before these 7 years. And a lot of other laws to assure the security of women and to assure that women are their rights are taken and their places and leadership is confirmed, So as you were saying, before these 7 years, women were not allowed with these numbers in the parliament, were not allowed with these numbers never as a governor. A lot of new places the women took and a lot of new positions she acquired.
Yes, but we're not speaking only about the working women, we're also speaking about household women, and we're speaking about mothers, and we're speaking about women who are
underserved.
Yes, indeed. But before we go into that, let me here take the second report. And Egypt's women have always been its trumping card for so many years. Women have played a key role in all sectors, on all levels. President Fattah al-Sisi honored a huge number of women who were described as social fighters. The president said that women make up 1/2 of the society, hence they should be backed and supported to guarantee the constant reform and development of their communities. Let's watch.